Welcome to Hartfelt Beer Reviews. My name is Kyle Hart, back with yet another amazing rare review. Been on a tolerance break for a couple weeks, so I hadn't done a beer review, but we're going to head back into it deep, straight into the pond, all the way with Avery's Barrel Age series. They're brand new as far as I know. Double Maple Barrel Stout. Okay, this is a 15.3% Russian Imperial Stout aged in bourbon barrels, maple syrup barrels with coffee and cinnamon and extra maple syrup added. I've wanted them to do one of these maple syrup barrels for a long time. I don't think they've done one before. I could be incorrect on that one, but in any case, this is the first time I've been able to pick one up. I've had this bottle for about a week. Been really excited to crack it open. You know, a maple syrup bourbon barrel aged stout is just heaven for me. So I'm going to read you the bottle here. It says number 52 in our barrel aged series, stout aged in bourbon barrels and maple syrup barrels with coffee, cinnamon, and extra maple syrup added, like I mentioned before. It was bottled on April the 18th, 2019, 15.3%, and it was 1,700 cases were produced. It says here on the side, it says, "Keep your pastries and we'll have our flapjacks and black coffee. Brewed with Rocky Mountain water, malted barley, midnight wheat, specialty malted barley, oats, maple syrup, cinnamon, and coffee." This is going to be a big beer. I really hope this is not too thin. Usually Avery does a fantastic job with their barrel-aged beers. I've never had a beer by them that I didn't care for. There have been some that I didn't, obviously didn't like as well as others, but, for the most part, they make big, viscous, barrel-aged monsters. I think they have one of the best bourbon barrel-aged programs when it comes to beer in the entire country, if not the world. I'm going to go ahead and give you a hard pour to see how much head I can get on this, give you the aroma and taste, and tell you how I feel. Now, this bottle has been setting out for around 10 minutes before I poured it. Hopefully it's just warmed up a little bit so I can be able to taste more flavors for you. Cheers. Oh yeah. I don't expect much head on this being 15.3% because these beers just don't have that much head because of the high alcohol content. But that is black as oil. Just the way I like it. Poured thick. More dark chocolate head. And I didn't even get an inch head here. So that head dissipated almost instantly. So this is a I would say moderately carbonated, not too highly carbonated. Like I said, it's 110% opaque. There's quite a bit of light around me right now, and you're not seeing anything at all through this. You could probably stare at the sun through this beer. That's how opaque and monstrous this beer is. Okay, so it says it's brewed with coffee, cinnamon, aged in bourbon barrels, and maple syrup barrels with even more maple syrup. So what I'm expecting here, or actually what I would like for it to be, is kind of like the coffee that Tweak presents, that their Tweak Coffee Stout presents, with a little bit of subtle cinnamon, hopefully not too sweet, with a big maple syrup, but balanced out with the bourbon barrel and the oak and everything like that. That's what I'm looking for. Never had this beer. Let's find out. Oh wow. Oh man. This is insane already. This is the nose in this beer is overwhelmingly amazing. I mean, you get big dark roasted coffee. I'm talking this isn't even like a subtle Colombian coffee. This smells more like a Ethiopian dark roasted coffee. Again, I'm no coffee expert, so don't take my word on that. I don't really know what coffee beans are used in here, but it's a big, dark roasted coffee, just the way I like it. It's black as midnight coffee. And the cinnamon, at least in the nose, is subtle. You do detect the cinnamon, but it's just enough to give it a sweet spiciness to it that, to me, adds more in depth to the oak and the vanilla that come from the wood from the bourbon barrel. And you do get big bourbon as well. It's not just extra ethanol like some barrel-aged stouts present. This is definitely, you can taste, or sorry, you can smell the aroma of the bourbon in this one. I'm getting a more of a maple syrup sweetness than an actual maple syrup aroma, or distinctive maple syrup aroma. Again, that may just be the aroma, that may just be me. I might be kind of off. I've not done one of these reviews in a while, or maybe just a tad too cold. But man, even in the nose, you're getting deep chocolate fudge. I mean, it's just, I can even tell you right now, this is gonna be a chewy, chocolatey coffee bourbon maple imperial stout. Just what we're hoping for, at least on this channel. At least what I'm hoping for. I want to go ahead and give you a taste and tell you how I feel. Cheers. Absolutely cannot wait. I almost don't want to drink this. I'm so excited. This is the best beer they've ever brewed, in my opinion. Already #1 hit on my book. Again, we know, without being biased, this is what I enjoy the most. But just as it describes black coffee and flapjacks, I mean, you get the distinctive bourbon barrel, and you get the bourbon. That's what I really love. Some of these bourbon barrel-aged stouts, you're just getting added ethanol, and there's really no bourbon presence whatsoever. Not with this case. Avery does a fantastic job with their barrel age process. Sometimes when you put beer into a barrel, it can really thin out a little bit. Not here. This is a very viscous, oily mouthfeel, which I love. Goes down like tar. Fantastic, fantastic imperial stout as far as the mouthfeel. The aroma, you get the big chocolate fudge, bourbon, a little bit of subtle cinnamon, and then you get more of the maple syrup sweetness than distinctive maple syrup, and the big dark roasted black as night coffee that I just absolutely love. I don't drink straight coffee often, but when I do, it's got to be as black as cold, because that's just the way I like it. I'm not big into the super sweet coffees, and it all really follows through in the mouthfeel. I mean, you get big, chewy chocolate fudge. I mean, real, amazing, genuine chocolate, not any fake syrup sometimes the brewers use. You get a distinctive, little bit of vanilla, subtle sweetness that kind of marries with the cinnamon into that, and that goes into the barrel. That really complements the oak and the bourbon. I'm getting just enough maple syrup. I think that adds more to the mouthfeel and a little bit of sweetness than like a distinctive maple syrup bomb. Some imperial stouts brewed with maple syrup can have a massive maple syrup to the point that it's almost cloying, and it kind of gets kind of a metallic aftertaste. Not with this. I mean, there are very few beers out there, at least that I've come across, that are absolutely on par with the description. If you like pancakes and black coffee, this is that in a beer. I mean, this is absolutely a must find. They said 1,700 cases produced. My local store only got about a case. So, and I'm in the Milwaukee area, so I don't know how how wide of a range of distribution it got. But since they're from Colorado and it stretched out here, I mean, I expected to get it because I'm in Milwaukee. We're like the beer hub of the country. So, again, this is absolutely phenomenal, an absolute must-have. This is an A+ for me. I normally don't like to rate beer like that because I want to be as subjective and unbiased as possible. I want everyone to determine their own tastes with these beers. But if you are a big imperial stout snob like I am, this is a must-have. You can actually get it on craftshack.com for around $17. A couple dollars more than you're originally paying, at the store. This is about $14.99. But either way, get it while you can, wherever you can. Big, deep bourbon barrel, maple syrup, subtle cinnamon and maple syrup mixing together, almost like a buttercream of cinnamon and maple syrup. And the maple syrup adding just enough of depth and viscosity to the mouthfeel. The big, dark, black roasted coffee, a little bit of subtle vanilla. Then just the absolute, I mean, deep chocolate fudge. I mean, it really does taste like maple syrup pancakes and coffee. I really can't get any deeper than that. I know I've repeated myself multiple times. I'm just absolutely insane that this beer is on par with its description. The ethanol aroma is there. You know, Avery, I don't know if they have a hard time or they purposely don't do it. You can generally detect the ethanol in these beers. I mean, it's 15.3%. You know, that's what you're going to expect. It would be very difficult to brew this beer and for the alcohol to be hidden. But it very much drinks like more of a 12 or 13%. You know, if you've had enough high alcohol content beers, you can really tell sometimes when you're drinking a 15, 16, 18% Imperial Stout. It just absolutely burns all the way down. Not with this. It is more of a warming ethanol than a, oh my god, you know, I just swallowed fire. Not like that at all. I mean, this just warms the mouth. Kind of like a warm sip of black coffee. All the way down to your toes. It just makes you feel some type of way. I mean, it's 9:30 at night here, and I'm ecstatic. I absolutely can't contain myself. I mean, I'm happier now than I've been all week because I've not had a beer in a couple days. And this is just one way to end a rough week of work. I'm glad you could join us on Hartfelt Beer Reviews. This has been Kyle Hart, and this has been Avery's Double Barrel Maple Stout, Imperial Stout aged in bourbon barrels and maple syrup barrels with coffee, cinnamon, and extra maple syrup added. 15.3%, guys. Please get it while you can, because once it's gone, it's gone. Thank you for joining us in Hartfelt Beer Reviews. I hope you've enjoyed my review. Thank you, and have a good night.